The grind. Through workouts, practices, games, combined with rigorous college courses, student athletes are some of the hardest working people in the country. College sports brings in a lot of money to advertisers and college administrations, but the only ones who do not get any financial benefits are the student athletes themselves. College athletes should be paid in the use of their name. They are the very reason some schools thrive financially. Student athletes generate a substantial amount of money for the universities. There are a lot of rules in the NCAA handbook. One of the most controversial rules that are out there that student athletes are not allowed to be paid. According to bylaw 12.1.2, an athlete is not eligible for participation in a sport that have ever taken pay or the promise to pay for competing in that sport. According to NCAA.org, other ways to lose eligibility for student athletes are if a student athlete uses his or her skill indirectly or directly for pay in any form in that sport, accepts promise of pay even if such pay is to be received following completion of intercollegiate athletic participation, or receives directly or indirectly a salary reimbursement of expenses or any other form of financial assistance from a professional sports organization based on athletic skill or participation except as permitted by NCAA rules and regulations. The debate over whether college athletes should be paid in the use of their name has been going on for decades and has only intensified. Athletes such as LeBron James and Richard Sherman and politician Bernie Sanders have expressed their support for allowing students to make money during their college careers. One reason LeBron went to the NBA out of high school was because he knew he was going to get paid. If he were to go to college, that would not have happened. Bernie Sanders, in an article, had said that college athletes are workers. Athletes cannot be compensated with anything more than a scholarship, and not all athletes receive scholarship. At the Division III level, athletes cannot receive any money for their sports. College football has become a multi-million-dollar business, and football players cannot make a dime from it. Many of the athletes come from poor families. It has been known for some of these athletes to accept money that has been offered to them to provide for their families. If a legislation were to pass that all college athletes can get paid, no kid would have to be penalized. Even if smaller schools paid their athletes less than other schools, they would still gladly take it. It is illegal to work during the year as well. This creates a situation where athletes are faced with dilemma between taking money and accumulating debts. Two prime examples are A.J. Green and Terrell Pryor. A.J. Green was a star wide receiver for the University of Georgia, and Terrell Pryor was a quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes in 2008, 2009, and 2010 seasons. Green was suspended for the first 4 games of the 2010 season, and Pryor was also suspended. Both came from poor backgrounds and brought in a ton of money for their respective universities and were yet desperate for money. Reading an article from Cleveland.com in the 2019 and 2020 year, Ohio State athletics brought in $228 million, and yet none of the student athletes received anything. Not all athletes get drafted or go on to play a professional sport. If paid, college athletes would leave school not with just a degree, but with savings as well, which would help them with life after school. According to a recent survey of 2,500 students by a polling platform, College Pulse, a majority of students support initiatives to pay college athletes. An overwhelming 80% of all students and 83% of athletes agreed that college athletes should be paid if their image is used for purposes such as selling merchandise. Growing up, I looked at college athletes such as Tim Tebow and Jared Sellinger as role models, and would ask for the jerseys for Christmas. I can speak for a lot of other kids as seeing college athletes as role models. With jersey sales, I feel like student athletes should at least receive some type of pay. In conclusion, back in September, California approved the legislation of the Fair Pay to Play Act. It would allow athletes that attend California colleges that make more than $10 million in media rights revenue each year to make money from their image. They would also be allowed to hire an agent to represent them in business deals without losing their eligibility to play college sports. This will come into effect in the year of 2023. If legislation were to pass throughout the NCAA, paying college athletes would change college sports tremendously. Thank you.